So this morning we're taking a look at other TV classics that have hit and also missed in the leap to the silver screen. Here to help us out, Dana Stevens, film critic for Slate.com, and Allison, Bales, film critic for More Magazine. Good morning to both of you.
Hi.
The Three Stooges, they got a lot on their plate here. I mean, an iconic TV show. I remember watching with my dad all the time, loved it. I mean, that's a big challenge.
I think it's always really dangerous when you take such an iconic show with the characters and make a film. This film is not bad, but for me, I just don't know what the relevance is. And I wonder, would anyone try and make a Groucho Marx film? Could you replace Groucho Marx with someone now, or Laurel and Hardy? I just don't know if it's a wise thing to do.
In the case of the Three Stooges, I mean, they were already replaced along the way of those, 60 years that they've been in the public imagination. There have been, I think, a couple of Curlys, and there was a guy named Shemp in the early Three Stooges. So it's not as if there was one original clan. So maybe, given that this is aimed at a new demographic of younger people who don't know the Stooges, it doesn't matter.
Let's talk about the conversions that worked.
Yeah, we've seen this done some successfully before, Allison. Batman, for example.
Yeah, for me, Batman was one of the most successful TV to movie transitions. I love the TV show, and I think what makes the movie work so well was that it was so different than the TV show. The TV show was kind of campy and kitschy. We all remember with the pows and the kaplows on the screen, and it was very tongue-in-cheek. Yet Christopher Nolan reinvented the character for the big screen. It was moody, it was dark, the character had a backstory. So for me, that was what made it, I think that's where you find the success.
Because Tim Burton's Batman was more cartoony.
Yeah, and what do we think of that?
I thought the first one was all right, but then I think we
You're the critic.
No, I mean, I wasn't a big fan, but I'm not such a big Tim Burton fan in general.
Okay.
I just think you have to subvert the original to get something new and different.
Dana, your pick was Star Trek, too.
For the best adaptation
Great
from a
film.
TV show. Yeah, I think most Star Trek fans, and even people who don't know the original series, would agree that that's the best of the Star Trek movies. And it brings back this great original nemesis that everybody remembers from the old series. Ricardo Montalban as Khan.
You're talking about Star Trek 2.
Yeah, The Wrath of Khan.
The best Star Trek movie, right?
Yeah, I think
by
hands
far.
down. And because it's somebody who's really a match for William Shatner's Captain Kirk, and it feels like it's true to the original spirit of the show, but it brings something fresh as well.
But I like the reboot of the Star Trek franchise, and I may be alone. Among Trekkies, I think maybe Star Trek 2 is the one they like. I like the reboot that was more recent.
You got to watch Star Trek 2 again. Awesome.
He'll be doing that
in
this
my spare
afternoon.
time.
I will be watching it this afternoon.
The Brady Bunch spawned a very campy movie.
I love the Brady Bunch movie, and I grew up in England, but I still watched the Brady Bunch growing up, and it was very American to me, and everything about America was sort of encapsulated in the Brady Bunch. So, and the movie was so great because I think they transposed the action to the 90s, but they kept them the 70s Brady Bunch. So they had the 70s clothes and the haircuts and the mindset of people from the 70s, and that's what made it funny. Is they did something different with it. They didn't just try and carbon copy the TV show. I think that's why it worked.
All right. What didn't necessarily work?
Well, for me, one of the worst has been Sex and the City 2. Which was really...
You liked the first one?
Yeah, the first one was okay, but I loved the show. And I think that the movies just lost a lot of the wit and the freshness of the TV show, and the second one especially went so far off track. Nothing was at stake for Carrie or any of the characters. As you see, they're riding camels. What does this have to do with Sex and the City? I don't know. It was just all over a very flat script. They dragged Liza Minnelli into it to jazz it up. I mean, they threw everything at it and it didn't work.
Dana,
I completely
Bewitched?
agree. That movie was just painful. But there's a lot to choose from when you're talking about bad TV adaptations into movies, because really the majority of them don't work when they try to raid that material in for the big screen. But the one that I chose and I wanted to get on this list for the conversation is Naked Gun, which I think is one of the very few.
For a good one.
That's actually,
That's
it's better than the show.
Yes.
I love that movie.
And also was it made from a flop show
Yeah.
and became a huge hit as a movie. It somehow worked on the big screen and people weren't ready for it on TV.
Good stuff. Thanks, guys.
Dana
We'll look
Stevens,
forward to
welcome.
Three
Thanks for
Stooges.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Thanks for having us.
Enjoy your weekends.